This is one of the most bizarre and interesting stories that I've seen in a very long time. Sometimes generational gaps can create superficial differences that when you dig to the core of it, you realize we're not that much different after all. As stated in the poetic writings of great American philosopher Robert Sylvester Kelly, age ain't nothing but a number, and getting down ain't nothing but a thing. However, in the case of this Pentecostal pastor from Des Moines, Iowa, this by far trumps the line of what is legal versus ethical. Was marrying one of his 19-year-old congregants a form of spiritual abuse? Or was it love at first sight? In this video, we're going to explore the curious case of 63-year-old Dwight Reed and his 19-year-old freshly out of youth group bride.
Ruslan.
We're gonna react to this story, and the pastor clapped back to this entire debacle, and the wife also clapped back to this entire debacle. So we're just gonna jump right in. Here is the local media coverage. It's super pixelated, and I got some more information about this just now. This is very interesting.
Demetrius Synagogue of the Kingdom Church in Texas called for a full investigation into the November 15th marriage of Des Moines Bishop Dwight Reed and Jordan Reed of the Christ Apostolic Temple. Dwight Reed is 63 years old and Jordan Reed is 19.
This marriage tears at the very fiber of the social constructs of the African American family. Children are taught to respect their grandparents' contemporaries, not to marry them.
On April 6th, the newlyweds and the church began protecting the marriage in the court of law by filing a lawsuit together in Polk County against Bishop Demetrius Synagogue and the Kingdom Church, seeking $1.5 million in damages from libel.
If it were to come to that, again, no state.
So this dude sued this pastor in Texas. This pastor in Iowa marries one of the congregants. This pastor is calling it out, and he's getting sued over this.
We have made is without witnesses.
Iowa law states the minimum age to marry without parental consent is 18, but Bishop Synagogue claims Jordan's paternal grandfather came on one of Synagogue's many online platforms alleging clergy abuse.
He came onto the clubhouse and emphatically condemned this marriage. Emphatically, his words were, and I quote, that her father sold his daughter out and pimped her out for his own self-gain.
Legal, ethical, legal, moral.
The lawsuit claims Bishop Synagogue's allegations have caused severe past and future emotional distress, loss of revenue, as well as a loss of reputation and good standing in the community.
Because of the power imbalances, it is always the responsibility of the caregiver to maintain appropriate and ethical boundaries.
Absolutely. In a situation like this, even in a youth leader congregant situation, there is a power dynamic at play. This is why it is frowned upon when this sort of thing happens with a senior in high school who's 18 and a teacher. You could still lose your job. Same thing with professors, right? With like a graduate student and a graduate professor. But generally speaking, the power dynamics in these situations are so lopsided that this is just not something that you justify.
Synagogue claims that Jordan's family was given just days notice of the wedding here at Christ Apostolic Temple. He says that Jordan's father walked her down the aisle that day and willingly gave his blessing, but says that even though it's legal, it may not be ethical.
It was illegal to prevent women from voting not long ago.
Court documents also claim that because of the accusations from Bishop Synagogue online to his 11,000 Facebook followers across the country, Bishop Reed and his wife have been regularly harassed online. Unidentified young men have been coming to their home to harass Mr. and Mrs. Reed, and it has created a decline in temple membership and tithing.
Before we get into this pastor's clapback, which he definitely clapped back, and her response, do me a solid, make sure you guys smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. One of the best ways you can push this video up and push our channel up in the algorithms by just simply hitting the like button. Now let me play you guys this bishop's response from a service they did around March 20th. Check this out.
A preacher down in Houston running his mouth, there's a homosexual.
It's like a generational gap where some of these guys, like, no matter what, the clap back is like, well, yeah, well, you know, it's like, wait, what? Every old man clap back.
Why aren't you talking about that?
He got him. Checkmate.
About same-sex marriage.
The piano player.
The Bible says that marriage is honorable.
I don't know this type of marriage go talk about there, Pastor.
You let the devil trick you, and then somebody talking about they agree because they was molested as a child. I didn't molest you.
He's so happy. Like, yeah.
How do you think all these kids love me? I am a protector of children.
Let me give you guys her response and then something else I found out about this situation. So this is apparently from her Facebook. And then I really do want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, what is a scenario where this is ever appropriate? I'm genuinely curious because I don't think there is one. But this is her response. I would like to inform you all that getting married was my decision. I had second thoughts and I was nervous, but my choice. I am now Jordan Reed. That was something that I decided to do. Me and my husband have discussed how crazy this is for the last 3 months, yet I decided to move forward in what God has led me to do. I'm moving forward and having faith in God every step of the way. I know everyone has their own opinions about this, and it doesn't surprise me that people don't agree with it. After me saying this, I'm sure people will keep talking. People say what they want to say regardless, so I have that right as well. The only opinion that I'm thinking of in this situation is God, because he knows all and sees all. He knows past, present, and future, so my trust is in him. If you feel more comfortable unfriending me or never speaking to me after what I said, then fine. We've all got our own lives to live before we die. The question is, with this sort of age gap, with this sort of power dynamic, even though she's 19 and she's an adult, is that an actual autonomous human making decisions in light of the social dynamics and the power dynamics in this sort of situation, right? That's a question I have, because I don't know. When I was in high school, there would be 16, 17-year-old girls that would date older gentlemen because we were near a military base. So a lot of these guys were 18, 19, 20. Some of them were a little older, 21, 22. And remember in high school thinking, this is unethical. Like, this is foul. Like, not being a Christian, but someone that's just a couple years older dating someone that's 17, 18 and is a season ahead of life than them. I thought that was just totally trash. And there was that real dynamic. There was a lot of girls that dated military dudes and a lot of dudes that didn't. And I just always like, what kind of dude are you out here like trying to date a high school girl? That says to me more about the dude than it did about the females, in my opinion. Back then, pre-Jesus, I knew that's whack. That's predatory. The girls in high school, the 17, 18-year-olds in high school, were probably like, oh, it's, consensual. We just love each other, and it's like, well, where's that line? In terms of consent, where is that? I had to really dig to try to find a little bit of information in terms of this pastor's previous marriages, and apparently they've all been swapped from the internet. Okay, the only thing I found is this TSB News website that says here Jordan Godlet is an 18-year-old former student of Pastor Dwight Reed. She is also the fourth wife of Pastor Dwight Reed, according to reports. Pastor Dwight Reed has really been married and divorced 3 times, with Jordan being his 4th wife. And there's apparently a picture of one of his ex-wives before this. So where's the ex-wives? And why aren't the ex-wives stepping up and calling foul on this situation? Because I think, man, if you're going to protect people, that's pretty bizarre to me that there be silence on this from the ex-wives in this situation. Here's the thing. If you're looking at scripture, someone that's an elder, an overseer, if you want to use the word bishop, they're called to be a one-woman man. They're called to live above reproach. They're called to manage their own household well. There's so many different requirements that someone like that has. I don't understand how these types of situations happen at any church. How does this type of stuff fall through the cracks? How does this type of stuff co-sign? How are people so enthralled by the personality of a leader like this that, yes, maybe technically what's happening is legal, but is super bizarre on just the strength of, yes, legally he's allowed to have a 4th wife, but scripturally, how do you justify an elder pastor in a church being married 4 times now to a 19-year-old, and he's just able to continue leading, pastoring? Where are the elders in the church? Where are the other leaders? Where are the other men? Where are the youth pastors? Who keeps showing up to these types of situations? I think this reveals a lot about the power dynamics, the spiritual abuse, the psychological abuse, the way funds are spent, right? I think this is a really bizarre situation. I don't see things like this too often with regards to like just how outlandish it is, but I do see it enough. We got to do better as a church in terms of calling this stuff out. Some of you guys, you're so passive, you want to just keep the peace. You don't, you know, something looks sketch, you want to look the other way. I get it, but I think a lot of this stuff needs to be called out with regards to how toxic and abusive these types of environments. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What do you guys think about this? How does this slip through the cracks? How is this not dealt with? On the strength of like, would you go to a pastor's church that had been divorced twice? How about once? How about four? Like, would you be okay with that? You know, if someone's on their third, fourth wife. And if you want to hear about me quitting my job at a church before getting fired and why I'll never work at a church again, check out this video over here. I'll see you there, all right?